Okay guys, I'm doing a coaching session for Thresh, which is Plat 2 on the North American servers. It's Kaiser Thresh into Illusion Pike. Now you should have a decent advantage here on bot side. There are a couple of things you can do here. You can interrupt the Thresh Q if he decides to hold on the wind up. You can actually interrupt that cast pretty quickly. So it pressures the Pike into using it pretty quickly if you're near him. Also, you can, if you do catch on the solution, you can maybe hold on to the flay for about 0.5 seconds to maybe bait out the dash as well from Lucian, to then just basically cancel his dash to keep him in to force out a flash. I think in theory your bot lane's much stronger than theirs, especially if you catch them out. And if the Pike does go in, you've got a lot of counter there as well, as long as the Kaiser doesn't get too scared. Got a nice little build there as well. With the Lulu mid might be a little bit dodgy, but if it does pan out okay early game, it does mean that Kaiser's got a little bit more buffing there as well. So Kaiser's probably going to be your carry this game if she's able to do it. The other team's got a lot more CC though, a lot of CC. So your priority towards the mid game is just going to be able to try and CC wherever you can, really. Try and prevent. They've got a lot of hard engage there as well, 3 champions there. With the Zin, the earlier and the Pike, so you're probably going to have to prioritize on doing some hefty peeling there sometimes. But overall, I think their team comp is probably slightly better just because they can probably just out-sustain the damage unless Kaiser just does get extremely fed. This is already looking kind of bad from a mid-game point of view. But so the Q really, so let's see what happens. Okay, you guys agreed to do a red invade. This can be kind of cheeky. See how it goes. You haven't leveled anything, which is good. Okay, Lulu's kind of revealed what's happening already. Since minions are spawning, you can't be here anymore. You got to start heading back to bot side now. Do be careful that they haven't decided just to invade your red as well. Try to carefully win through here. Oh, you got the new Thresh skin already. Nice. Okay, your jungler's going to be behind this game. Yep. Your jungler's going to be behind this game, so basically you need to be thinking about playing pretty defensively. You know that the Zin's also doing red side first as well, so he's probably going to get, either one or two things is going to happen. He's either going to go here, or straight to blue, scuttle, and then down to bot or to mid. And so in about 2 minutes, you're going to have to start thinking about Zin coming down. So you either make a level 2 play, or you're going to have to like wait until the Pike tries and forces a play and try and counter from that. Good auto attacks here onto... When did you decide to level Q? I'm actually just going to jump back in time here and actually check when you decide to level Q, because Q shouldn't be taking that first in lane in this case. So you already take Q already when coming into lane here. E's better because of the flay, so you can interrupt this Pike Q for example and not let him get off the cast. And also it's much higher damage on even able to push into the melee groups as well to help get level 2. There should have been a couple more auto attacks there. I think as soon as the Pike's in this position here, you just throw the hook out straight away. I think he hooks straight away here. Lucian's hook's okay, but I think he should have just pressured the Pike in a little bit more. More there. Would have mitigated some more of the auto attacks there from Pike there. Kind of in a little bit of a bad spot right now. Gonna have to try and help. You are. Okay, just gonna say yeah, I'm gonna have to try and help the Kaiser CS here. And once again, you're not gonna be able to make an engage here. You just saw Zin was top side, so Zin's all the way onto top side. You can probably call this walk to come down after the scuttle. I think this is your best chance to make a move here on the bot side. Since you know that Zin was top on the minimap. You flay. No. That was a good hit back in. I want to go watch that play though. I want to watch this in 0.5. Yeah, you get hooked here and you get stunned here. Pyke has nothing else now apart from flash, and he's actually going to take a tower shot here. What I would personally do is I'll just ignite and flay this Pyke in straight away and get ready to hook him on under tower. You still have heal here from the Kaiser. I think you force this Pyke just to take another tower shot, and with the ignite as well, it would be super scary. Also, with this as well, your E's on cooldown. It's okay to fire out your hook here to hook in the Lucian, because you didn't use it before, but you don't want to be walking closer towards his face though, because you're about to take some unnecessary damage here probably. Yeah. Good ignite though on the Lucian though, considering the circumstance. I'm not sure. Oh, okay, good Kaiser move. I don't think Pyke can kill you here. That's fine. Don't know if Warwick can finish that off. Yeah, she managed to fall in with the jump. Nice. Kaiser, this is exactly a win condition here. The Kaiser getting fed, as we established at the very start of the game. The Kaiser is probably the only one who can actually cause their team a lot of problems on your team. Pushing in this in is correct as well. You want to reset the wave and just go back straight away here. Okay. Apart from a couple of minor mechanical errors, there's nothing too crazy at the moment to talk about. Controlled, good. Upgrade your GP5, perfectly fine. Enemy team gets an Inferno Drake. Kind of unlucky. Good, you're using the controlled. You're just scouting to see if they've got a controlled in that brush too. I would be very hesitant to follow Warwick in any scenario this game. He's already made two very big mistakes this game. One with the level 1 invade and handling that situation, and then this one here with the Drake. I'll be very careful about following up another play from the Warwick. I think you should just keep your eyes down on bot lane and make sure you just don't let the Xin come and gank bot side, because the Xin's fed and he has 2 out of 3 kills on their team. I think you should just keep your eyes down on bot side for now. It's going to be very hard to start and engage up against their team, but Thresh is a very good disengage against their team. So in theory, nothing necessarily needs to be done here. Both of the Pyke and the Lucian have died once. There's nothing for you to have to force here. Yeah, there's a lot of free damage there to take there. Now your phase not up now for the Pyke. Now you're putting yourself in a lot of trouble here. Pyke. Okay. Yeah. When you're ahead like this, basically it becomes less advantage. There isn't as much of an advantage of going in because you have the item advantage. Okay, sorry, let me start this again. So you have a BF on the Kaiser, and yes, you have the potential to snowball at this lane, but there's still a huge amount of risk here actually going in, because of A, the Xin Zhao could come in quite easily, and B, if you die here, or both of you die here, basically it turns the lane on its head, and even then they get an advantage. So if you just let the Kaiser just whittle them down over time, just with the item advantage, and then make a play from there, and just counter the Pyke's movement, that's all you're really here for. Because if you use your flay in like this, basically it gives Pyke a free ticket just to go in however he likes and set up something here, if that makes sense. As soon as you use one of your abilities, it basically gives it okay to Pyke. Okay, the Thresh can only do a hook and that's it. And Thresh is a little bit squishier in lane than you actually think as well. With the Prestia they attack, the Lucian actually can shred through Thresh quite quickly if he gets just a little bit of free time on a Thresh. So yeah. In my opinion, if I were you, I'll probably start thinking about going Ninja Tabby or making sure that I pick up some form of armor for this lane against the Pike and the Nation. I think your sole focus is going to be making sure that you can survive long enough to pill for the Kaiser. That's kind of nice that the Pike hooked you in there. It's a shame you weren't able to land the hook though. I'm not sure if it would have actually been a kill though. I mean, Warwick is only level 4. Yeah, that was super nice actually that the Pike hooked you and actually basically essentially gave you free half a flash to get in nearer there to land a hook. I don't think even if you did land a hook there though, it would have given you anything there though, but who knows. It's a shame you missed the hook really. Okay, because now the Kaiser has to go back, you're doing exactly the right thing here. You're rotating around and seeing if you can make a play here, or checking wards at least. There's no advantage of you going back to base right now. Yeah, you're just checking for control wards, which is completely the right thing to do. Yeah, just make your way back down bot side now. Kaiser should be back shortly. Just this is too far. This is going to this bush here is too far. And if you're making a sneak play here, it's not worth it because we've already established that the Warwick is kind of meh. And if they catch you out here, you also die. This is very risky. It might even, to be honest, if I was in your situation here, it would be worth sitting in this tri brush here. Because it's fairly common for the support to go by themselves and just check the brush here for control ward and then clear it. So that would have been a much safer option. I know you're probably playing here because of the Warwick, but I personally wouldn't trust this Warwick. And if he wants to come over, he's got this pass cone here anyway. And also, I'm not exactly sure how you know this brush isn't warded because you haven't got an oracles again. So once again, this is like super risky. But it's gonna pay off. Warwick has his ulti. You're not really in the fight properly here. I wanna watch what you were doing in that fight, to be honest. So you landed him and you flayed the Pike away. You should be landing way more auto hits here as well. You, honestly, apart from bringing the Warwick into that fight, you didn't actually do anything. Don't chase. Okay? You as a Thresh, you're never going to be able to chase up here, and you should probably tell your team not to. There's nothing to be gained here. You should be telling this Kaiser to just come back to bot lane, push in the lane, and just get the CS, and then go back again. Yeah. Even just landing the hook in there, you still can't even engage in. You're gonna have to recall now. I would say recall and just upgrade your boots if you can. How much gold are you on? You're on 600. I mean, you could go mobility boots if you really wanted to. Yeah, now we're just overstaying like crazy. Kaiser is following up though. You should try and lantern for her. I think you lanterned yourself there. Let me just watch this again. You've also got to be aware that Lulu mid isn't going to do any substantial amount of damage at all. Nothing compared to the Aurelia anyway. And yeah, you landed just out for the shield, but you could have probably W'd in the Kaiser maybe if you noticed sooner that she was heading this direction. But once again, I don't think that would have done anything. I think you were dead there anyway. Yeah, so far you haven't really landed any hooks and kinda I think you feel like you have to use Q when you don't have to. It's very similar to Blitzcrank. The easiest way to explain it is on Blitzcrank. Anyone with like a long skill shot timer like this, like Thresh, Blitzcrank, Nautilus, those sort of champions. So it's not always a good thing to use Blitzcrank Q. Sometimes just having it there, it's just a nice enough threat anyway to prevent the team from doing anything. So in bot lane, for example, as we were talking about the Pyke not being able to engage onto you, is a pretty nice threat. I know the laning phase does get stale, but the Kaiser's ahead, and you are making a couple of mistakes now, which are giving the team free roam of the map. So you don't need to make these aggressive plays, and this is probably why I suggested not even going mobility boots and just going Ninja Tab, because you don't have to do anything this game. The team have to engage. The enemy team has to engage onto you. Also, the enemy team's siege isn't even that good. It's 4 melee and a Lucian with incredibly low range, so they have to get in close as well. So they're the ones who have to engage onto you. And so you don't have to have that roaming capacity. You don't have to force yourself in these weird situations of engaging. So yeah, I personally would have just taken Ninja Tab for this game. I just played a lot safer. Holding Q is perfectly fine. I know it feels bad not using hook, but I would just I would take max E first, because I would recognize that there's no point in me even engaging really. Max E first just to get some more damage from your auto attacks out, because this game, like, you're just going to be throwing it one hook or whatever, and that's basically about it if you're going to need to, because you don't need that hook spam coming out. As like if you're against like a Morgana, for example, where you have that window of opportunity or a squishy target, you want to have generally max Q first, because it gives you more opportunities to hook in that squishy target, and your AD carry can finish them off extremely quickly. Once again, you know that they're probably doing dragon, you're the only one here, it's just not worth it. You're being very over eager for nothing here. It's a lot of mistakes now. You know that they're doing dragon, or that you suspect that they're doing dragon. You're literally the only person there. You could just throw your lantern into the pit and just see it that way. So yeah. You are picking up a little bit of armor now though. Having to fast forward because you're not involved in these fights. I want to see your flash there. Sorry, I'm screwing up. Fair enough, I can see why you try to. You want to follow this up still. You've already used your hook, so there's no way you're going to be able to get in there, and you've used your flash as well. I guess you're just kind of scaring them off. You could maybe in theory pressure this tower down, and if so, if you are going to be pressuring down this tower, then you want to make sure you get a ward in the middle of the lane anyway. It's a pretty good standard ward, and then probably a ward over here just to see flanks. It's not a whole lot for you to do right now. You did put a ward there, good job. Probably might want another ward around here too. Yeah, good job covering your flanks for the tower push. This is the kind of thing that people in low ELOs don't do, is cover their flanks when you're pushing in for a tower. Yeah, you're just really squishy, so if you just get caught up by one thing like that, it's that's Thresh. It's kind of like a, I think it's getting bad, yeah. I think in this situation here in the tower, so you cover the flanks, that's great. I think after a couple of auto attacks here, you stop and then you just go back to mid around here and just get ready to throw your lantern out basically. Yeah, you basically walk into everything here. But yeah, you should have been I mean, Thresh does like 40 to 50 damage to a tower per auto attack. It just isn't worth your damage on the tower anyway. So you're just better off just standing in the middle of the lane. Just throw out a lantern for the Kaiser as soon as you hear the threat of the Pyke W. And just, you know, just play it safe. That's all you need to do, is just play it safe. Kaiser's doing actually pretty well right now. I mean, I know the rest of your team aren't doing particularly amazing. Lulu is holding off just about. But the Kaiser has been your win condition the whole game, and you haven't really been there for her, really. Yeah. When you're behind on Thresh like this, you kind of just have to treat it like as if you're a caster, and you're kind of just being staying at the back kind of thing, or in the, or at least on par with your AD carry. No reason to hook there just yet. There was no one there to help you. Once again, just more unnecessary risk. I think you need, how many wards have you got on the map? You've got 3. Okay. I mean, now you need to be thinking that the next easiest objective for the enemy to take now is the Herald. So you need to start thinking about moving wards over that side of the map. This Warwick has been fighting for a while, and you've just walked from here to over here. You should have tried to come over and at least tried a lantern for him. Okay, good. At least you did lantern him in the end there. This plays super safe right now. Your team is super far behind. You cannot make any plays. You have to let, when you're this far behind, it's the enemy, the only way you win is the enemy team threat. So you just gotta let them make the mistakes. Try not to force yourself to be the person making the mistake. You have time here. You have 5 minutes until Baron, so you've got plenty of time here to turn this game around. Okay, wait. You haven't used Flare yet. Okay, stop. This player's all wrong. Okay, this hook here is perfectly fine. I think you're aiming for the pike, but hitting the Cho here isn't super amazing, but it's fine. I think at this point here, you need to flay straight away here. You need to flay. I personally would do it under tower, but it needs to happen. Even here, there's still 3 stacked up, and you could easily flay 3 here. But you actually flay them away, and you actually save them. Or at least potentially save them from taking a couple of bits of tower damage here. Once again, Kaiser's doing a really good job. You need to follow this up though. I think it's too far now, you have to go back. Kaiser has no mana as well. So just get... So, okay, Warwick wants to flank in the side here. Good hook on the Xin. You need to do another flay. Flay's only off for cooldown now. I think you're okay there with the lantern to make sure there's a way for a ticket to get out. You have to die here. Yeah, you have to die here so that the Kaiser doesn't die. You should ping back this Kaiser right now. I think the Kaiser's gonna die. I'm surprised he really doesn't turn that right around on the Kaiser first. Fast forwarding this because there's nothing to do with you here. But you have to die there. You have to sacrifice yourself to make sure the Kaiser doesn't get caught off and die there by the Aurelia. Just let them make the mistakes. They've made enough mistakes here for you to start getting back into the game. They consistently make this over time. You can just let them make the mistakes and just wait for them. This is too early of a hook again. There's no one nearby. If you had just waited 3 seconds, if they were still there, it would be a viable use of it there. You're not using your flay. Here your flay's off cooldown. So you get silenced here. I personally would just keep walking into the Cho here. Even if you get hooked here by Pike, it's fine. Warwick's coming in here now. You're now 4v5, 4v3, sorry. Okay, you gotta flay this Cho'Gath into your team. You gotta prioritize the flay first. You don't need to ult, just to ult slow the Cho'Gath. The flay would have been fine. He would have just flashed it anyway though. Like here right now would be a decent opportunity for your ulti. Yeah. I think I'm just going to stop it here because there's a lot of the same sort of mistakes, and it seems like overall in general you're having a very off game on Thresh anyway. There's been a lot of mistakes happening, and I kind of just want to stop here because it's just the same sort of thing happening over and over again. At the very start of the game, just identify like what you're coming up against. So just do a very brief evaluation of what kind of thing you'd expect, what kind of person on your team should try and carry this game, and you need to ask yourself when you're playing these engaged champions, like you have to ask yourself, do I actually need to engage? When you were the Kaiser was 2-0 up, there's no point risking missing your spells, because if you miss your spell, then it just gives the opportunity for the enemy. The enemy has to be the one to make the play. Let them make the mistake if it happens. And then you can then use your abilities, and then if you miss, they can't engage back in because they've got the cooldowns. If they do manage to land an ability and start making up a play, then you have your abilities to try and counter that, and with the item advantage on the Kaiser, you can easily do that. I think your general macro seems okay, but honestly this game there wasn't too much, but from what I saw, I was reasonably happy with how you handled with warding the flanks and looking for the controls when you knew you had nothing to go back for in the base, and you're looking for the controls on your side of the jungle, and you'll try and this brush here and the pixel brush here. I think this play was a little bit too dangerous. The more common play that I would recommend is just waiting here with the jungler with your control ward here, because a lot of the time the enemy support just comes in and face checks it, either just to put a ward down or just to clear the control ward out if they suspect that it's there. But yeah, like generally the whole game anyway, it was a lot of misuse of your abilities. You need to be making sure that you're using your flay. You need to make sure you're landing those hooks on the right targets, or any target really. And also just if you're behind like that, especially if they're forcing under tier 2 tower, you don't have to make plays. I think that's the biggest thing to emphasize this game, is just you don't have to, but let the enemy make the mistakes. You don't have to be the one to like try and leroy making the plays, because as support it's virtually impossible to do that anyway. If you're a blitzcrank, then it could be maybe worth it to hook one under the tower and attempt at that, but the Thresh hook isn't as good as the blitzcrank hook. Especially when you're behind as Thresh, you're just super squishy as well, and you just find yourself in the middle of everyone, and then you die extremely quickly. So yeah, I think the main lesson in here is just to have a little bit more patience. Let other people do the work a little bit more. Make the enemy work for their kills as well, because you're just giving them away for free basically every time now that I saw. Just try and be a little bit more patient. So yeah, because the pike in general did a really good job capitalizing whenever you used a hook, or if you ever used a flay wrong, then the pike was already straight away flying in there, knowing to utilize the fact that your ability was on cooldown, and they could just get in pretty easily, to be honest with her, without having to worry about anything. I think your builder kit was okay this game. I'm just going to skip to the end here and just check your build. You went Knight's Vow, which is okay, because we kind of established that you do need some sort of armor against Dilution, and the pike and his Inzao that you really kind of do as well. I think a Zeke's as well would have been quite nice as well if you're working towards that. Let me just check further ahead. Yeah, it looks like you're working towards a Zeke, so you have no problem there with your item build. I would have just thought a little bit more. Maybe Boots is fine, but Zeke's would have been a fine option too as well, because of, you know, how we were talking about how you didn't actually have to do anything really, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the whole game, this game would have been difficult to win anyway. But I mean, I've already fast forwarded now to near the end of the game. The Kaiser was on 11-2-4. The Lula has an Ardent Sensor for the Kaiser to work with, plus it's going to be a pretty beefy ult as well. Yeah, so yeah, if you didn't give away so many things for free as such, and just let the the game just take its own pace and just capitalize on the enemy making the mistakes, then you may have had an opportunity this game to get the win, but definitely focus on that. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed the coaching session.